Welcome. This video provides an overview of the Title VI program of the Triangle Area Rural Planning Organization, or TARPO for short. Today, we will discuss a number of topics, including what is TARPO, what is Title VI, how does TARPO incorporate Title VI into its procedures, and how can a person file a complaint if they believe TARPO is violating Title VI. So, to begin with, what is TARPO? TARPO is a government agency that provides transportation planning services in Lee County and Moore County, North Carolina, and in rural portions of Chatham and Orange counties. The map on the screen shows our service area in blue. The parts of Orange and Chatham counties outside of our service area are covered by a metropolitan planning organization instead. TARPO is governed by a Rural Transportation Advisory Committee, or RTAC. This committee is made up of local elected officials from the member counties and municipalities, and a member from the State Board of Transportation. The RTAC is advised by a Rural Technical Coordinating Committee, or RTCC, made up of local, regional, and state staff representatives. Staffing for TARPO is provided by the Triangle J Council of Governments, a regional organization that provides various services in a larger 7-county region. TARPO receives 80% of its funding as federal funds that are passed through the North Carolina Department of Transportation. The remaining 20% comes from local dues that are paid by member counties. TARPO has 4 core duties that are defined by North Carolina state law: to assist in developing long-range transportation plans, to participate in the prioritization of transportation projects for funding, to serve as a conduit for sharing transportation-related information, and to provide a forum for public participation in transportation decision-making. TARPO's Title VI policy statement reads, "It is the policy of the Triangle Area Rural Planning Organization as a federal aid recipient, to ensure that no person shall, on the ground of race, color, national origin, limited English proficiency, sex, age, or disability, and low income where applicable, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be otherwise subjected to discrimination under any of our programs and activities, as provided by Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Executive Orders 12898 and 13166, the Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987, and other pertinent non-discrimination authorities." If you feel you have been subjected to discrimination, you may file a complaint. Allegations of discrimination should be promptly reported to our Title VI coordinator, Matt Day. This policy is an expression of our commitment to non-discrimination and support of the Title VI program. TARPO developed its first organizational Title VI program plan in February of 2019. The plan describes the activities that TARPO staff will carry out to ensure the organization's compliance with our Title VI policy, and provides a snapshot of data about the region to aid in Title VI analyses. The document can be found on the TARPO website at the link on the screen, or by going to the main TARPO website, www.tarpo.org, clicking the Resources menu, and choosing General Documents. So you may be asking yourself, what is Title VI? Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits any programs or activities that receive federal funding from discriminating against people on the grounds of race, color, or national origin. Since TARPO is a subrecipient of federal funds that we receive through the North Carolina Department of Transportation, we are subject to Title VI requirements with oversight from NCDOT. Under Title VI, it does not matter if discrimination happens intentionally or unintentionally. If TARPO's actions or policies have a discriminatory effect, even if policy neutral, then the organization is potentially violating Title VI. Over the years, a number of laws and executive orders have amended the requirements of Title VI. Executive orders have designated the Justice Department and Attorney General as the lead agency on Title VI issues, and added requirements related to limited English proficiency populations. And the Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987 clarified that Title VI applies to all parts of an agency, not just the parts receiving federal funds. In addition to Title VI, a number of additional laws extend non-discrimination protections to additional groups of people. The 1973 Federal Aid Highway Act and Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 extended protections on the basis of sex or gender. The Age Discrimination Act of 1975 extended protections on the basis of age. And Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 extended protections on the basis of disability. All of these protected classes are covered by TARPO's Title VI policy. Related to Title VI is the concept of environmental justice, or EJ for short. EJ analysis is intended to focus attention on the environmental and human health effects that federal actions have on minority and low-income populations. An executive order signed in 1994 requires all federal agencies to develop EJ strategies. Because TARPO receives federal funding, we are also governed by the following 3 EJ strategies that were defined by the U.S. Department of Transportation. To avoid, minimize, or mitigate disproportionately high and adverse human health and environmental effects, including interrelated social and economic effects on minority and low-income populations. To ensure the full and fair participation by all potentially affected communities in the transportation decision-making process, and to prevent the denial of, reduction in, or significant delay in the receipt of benefits by minority and low-income populations. TARPO's Title VI program plan lays out the following 5 steps for how we will achieve environmental justice through our plans and activities. We will identify and evaluate the environmental, public health, and interrelated social and economic effects of our programs and activities. Propose measures to avoid, minimize, and/or mitigate disproportionately high and adverse human health or environmental impacts, and provide offsetting benefits and opportunities to enhance communities affected by our programs. Consider alternatives to proposed programs, policies, and activities where it would result in minimizing or avoiding disproportionately high and adverse impacts. Elicit public involvement, including soliciting input from affected populations, and include an EJ section in TARPO plans and studies. Another key aspect of Title VI relates to limited English proficiency, or LEP, populations. TARPO must provide service to all people, not only to those who speak English. Discrimination by language goes against Title VI's national origin protections. Over 11,000 people in the TARPO service area primarily speak Spanish. Because of this, TARPO must translate certain key written documents into Spanish. TARPO must also supply language interpreter services in any language when needed for oral communications. TARPO has a language assistance plan as part of its Title VI program plan that outlines the measures we will take to ensure reasonable and fair participation in our programs. As was discussed earlier, TARPO is staffed by employees of the Triangle J Council of Governments, or TJCOG. TJCOG provides services in a number of different focus areas, including transportation. There are currently 2 primary TJCOG staff assigned to work on TARPO. Matt Day is the primary staff person and also serves as TARPO's Title VI coordinator. Any questions or complaints regarding TARPO's Title VI program should be directed to him. As part of Title VI, TARPO maintains a number of maps and data sets on protected populations. These are based on census data and and are used to identify areas most likely to have Title VI or EJ impacts. Any person who believes that TARPO has discriminated against them on the grounds of race, color, national origin, including language, sex, age, or disability can file a Title VI complaint against the organization. Complaints must be submitted in writing and must be filed within 180 days after the alleged act of discrimination. Complaints must be signed by the complainant or a representative and must include the complainant's name and contact information. A standard complaint form can be used if desired, which can be found on TARPO's website. Intimidation or retaliation against complainants is prohibited by law. Complaints against TARPO can be submitted to the TARPO Title VI coordinator or to the North Carolina Department of Transportation's Office of Civil Rights, the Federal Highway Administration North Carolina Division Office, the U.S. Department of Transportation, or the U.S. Department of Justice. Once filed, the complaint will be acknowledged and investigated by the appropriate agency. If TARPO is unable to conduct the investigation itself, then it will be conducted by the North Carolina Department of Transportation. This concludes our brief overview of TARPO's Title VI program. If you have any questions, please contact Matt Day, TARPO's Title VI coordinator, at 919-558-9397, mday@tjcog.org, or the mailing address on the screen. Thank you for your interest in this important aspect of TARPO's transportation planning activities.